Hi, everybody.
Slamming doors.
So today in the Successful Selling series, we are talking about the 4 things that sabotage the sale. And this is what we hear in our trainings. This is from feedback from our students. This is feedback of our own process and smoking out our own process and looking at, what truly has worked in the past and what doesn't work.
Constantly refining it, constantly
Yes.
finding and changing our language, our messaging, and the words that we use with certain clients.
So we have found that the number one thing, so there's 4 things that we've noticed. So the 4 things are, number 1 is mindset around sales in general, the belief system around sales.
What's the mindset you have going into sales or making a phone call
or
right
how
before
you
you
feel
go
about sales
or presentation?
Yeah. Or your beliefs around sales. And then number two is not having a process.
No sales process.
So this is the thing that I really want to get on my podium box about, is about sales and money in particular. I don't know about you, but I never went to, and I'm not being a victim here. I'm just saying that we never got taught in school how to sell. It's just not something that is taught. In fact, it's almost deemed like it's something bad or negative or below you in higher education and those different things.
And yet,
and money too.
And it's the most important thing that you could possibly put any amount of investment of your own into your business, into your coaching practice, because sales is what's going to help you like 10x growth. Literally.
And it brings in profit.
It does.
It brings in profit. And if you do it in a aligned, we talk about in the training as a spiritual process, if you do it with integrity, it's such a beautiful opportunity to be able to facilitate a sale with someone.
So number 1, mindset.
Yes, mindset around sales. Number
2, no process.
Is no process. So people don't know a process. They don't know the general big picture of how the sale will flow, what to do, what questions to ask, all the things. And then number 3
is money blocks.
And it kind of ties back into mindset, but it's specific around money. 2 most triggering things for a lot of people we find is sales and money.
Yep.
There's a lot of wounding around it.
For what purpose are we so afraid of it?
Yeah.
Right?
And why do we let it control us?
When we have it, for what purpose do we not respect it?
Exactly.
Or appreciate it?
Or why do we fear it? Why do we not want to talk about it? All these different things. So that is tied into it. And the last thing that we're going to talk about is
stop solving problems.
Yes.
Stop solving the problem
during the sale.
During the sale.
You offer the solution. So we're going to talk a little bit about that and how to then really be powerful in the way that you approach sales.
Brian, what's going on?
Hey, Brian. So number 1, let's break down the mindset. So where does this sales fear, sales rejection, sales feeling like it's sleazy, manipulative, like it's dirty or evil, that you're hurting someone, you don't want to bother someone, you don't be too pushy, you don't be manipulative. And it really stems back usually from childhood for most people, or maybe sometimes people have gotten pushed into something that they didn't want to buy and then they had buyer's remorse. Well, if you think about it, those things are holding you back and getting projected into the sales conversation. Every time that, if you feel that internally, if you feel like, oh, I don't want to bother them. Oh, I don't want them to think that I'm just trying to get money out of them.
Because you don't want to call them 3 or 4 or 5 times.
Yeah.
It's going to affect your bank account.
It is. And you're not helping and serving the client. So literally start thinking about, where did you get these beliefs around sales? Was sales something that was recognized as something powerful in your family, or was it rejected? I know that my mother, love her 100%, God bless her. She didn't like those telemarketers calling.
She didn't like those pesky salespeople calling, did
she? It was interrupting her day, and how dare them interrupt what she was doing. And so it wasn't something that was considered, for me, it got anchored in fear, because I thought anytime that I called somebody, that they would be pissed off that I was calling, and how dare I interrupt their day, right? And so that was anchored in fear of God in me. Like, I was afraid to pick up the phone. And so that sabotages us.
So think about that mindset around sales. If you don't like to be sold, if you don't like salespeople calling you, or if you reject sales altogether, how do you think that is affecting your business and your revenue?
Exactly.
Because if you need to be doing something that you're not doing, but you totally reject it coming into your reality, how do you think it's going to respond to somebody when you're trying to project that out and say, hey, I need to make a sale today?
So if you're one of those people that gets annoyed when people come to your door and try to sell you stuff, if you're one of those people that get annoyed when a telemarketer calls, if you're one of those people that sits in a training and then when they go into the sales pitch, it triggers you and you don't want to listen to it and you start getting antsy and you're like, figuring out how can I get out of here before they sell me something? You got something around that.
And
so
if it's a coincidence that you're not making the amount of money you want to make, it's not a coincidence.
Yeah.
It's by design.
Or when you get into a sales conversation, if you freeze up and you don't feel good about it and it feels dirty and it feels nasty and you feel manipulative or you're afraid of what people think, then you got a sales block. There's something there from your past that is creating this feeling inside of you, and you can let it go.
So the next time you answer your phone, and if it's somebody trying to sell you something, say, you know what, I need to be doing the same thing this guy's doing.
Exactly.
He's out there prospecting, making calls. I should probably be doing the same thing.
Exactly.
And when I get a sales call, it's a little annoying just because I maybe thought it was a client calling me back. And I still say, hey, you know what? Good job. Keep making calls. I like how you're hustling. I like the hustle, right? I like that they're making sales. And then I say, I'm not a buyer today, unfortunately. I got to go. Right? That's okay. You can have a boundary around that and get to prospecting yourself.
Yeah, exactly. And when it comes to rewriting the paradigm that you have around the word sales, because sales, literally the word in itself is very triggering. This is something that we do in the 3-day business training, was we break down where these belief systems came from that are sabotaging and projecting negativity into the sales process. So start asking yourself, when you think of sales, like what comes up for you? Like what picture, sounds, feelings, taste, smells, self-talk, like what is a movie that creates in your mind? And then go back to that event, whatever it's creating. Usually it will come up right away. And start doing some journaling exercise on it and like look at it like, okay, so what is this experience telling me? Like, how can I learn from this experience? What is the cost of me continuing to believe this? Because that was something in the past and that has nothing to do with you showing up with integrity and sales now, right? So start journaling about that stuff. And then by journaling, you're going to shift your beliefs around it to where then when you get into those sales conversations, you are going to be projecting authenticity, total congruence. You're going to be projecting integrity and the act of service versus manipulation, being pushy, not wanting to bother somebody, and doing something that really shoves them into something they don't want.
And typically when you feel that way, you don't have a process.
Yeah.
Or that salesperson doesn't have a process. So number 2, having no sales process.
We're not talking about that yet.
I know, I'm going to move into it.
No, we're going to talk about that Monday.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Sorry.
Brandon always tries to jump around. It's okay. Speaking of the person that, never mind. I love you. Do you have anything else that you want to talk about when it comes to mindset around sales?
The projections of sales.
Well, and also changing the mindset from, trying to do something to someone versus a place of curiosity. We also, in our training, we teach people how to adopt the mindset of being a coach in the sales process, because you're really just being a facilitator for their greatness, that you're helping them enroll in their solution for whatever they want to create in their life, especially if you're a light worker or you're a coach and you're doing some sort of service of transformation. It's your job to really, really change your belief systems around sales, because that is where the coaching starts. When you are facilitating that change for somebody, you are helping them transform their life. And so when it comes to getting a little pushy, sometimes bumping up against their boundaries, it's your responsibility. And they will thank you later after they have the transformation and change. And it's just for you as the coach or the facilitator to be in a confident, congruent state of not taking that stuff personally. It's just behavior. One of the things we teach in NLP is that people are not their behaviors. And the problem is that when we are doing sales together with somebody, their limiting beliefs around sales and then your limiting beliefs around sales are bumping up against. And so you have all this behavior that's lashing out on each other and projecting out on each other. So it's your job to clear out everything that you have around the sales process to where then you can be neutral and you can support them in their transformation.
And think about the beliefs of a client. You're going to bump up against their beliefs. If we didn't bump up against their beliefs, we can't even transform them. Part of the transformation process is challenging the belief of the individual, because their belief could be totally false.
Usually it is.
But you have to influence them to get them to see another way.
That's why they need you.
That's why they need you as a salesperson or a consultant.
And another thing when it comes to the mindset around sales is that we say this too, is that you don't need clients, they need you, and you are the expert. They are not the expert, because
especially if you can help them save money, especially if you offer a better service than the other people, especially if you have a unique selling proposition or a unique service.
Yeah.
So they do need you more than you think, but the projection is I need clients. And so therefore you project that you need clients instead of they need us.
So, I mean, you don't, when you go to the doctor, I mean, we don't go to the doctor anymore, but I'm just saying when we did and before, and if we go to a holistic integrated medicine doctor, I assume that they are the authority, and what they give me, I usually don't question. Because I'm paying them because I respect their point of view. I've done research and I think that they know what they're talking about. Same thing goes for if you're selling coaching, or if, like for an example, Brian, you are the expert at real estate. So you need to put down the boundary with yourself and walk the walk of the expert, and not being so commission breath or needing them to want to enroll with you or needing them to go along with what you have to say. Because think about a doctor, they're like, if you don't agree with me, then whatever. I'm not selling you anything. I'm just educating you on what I know. And if you decide to move forward or not, that's up to you.
Yeah, it's the education piece of offering value.
Yeah.
And if you offer way more value than they know, they're gonna listen.
Yeah. And if you have that authority, confidence of that, exactly what you're talking about.
Confidence.
And hey, you can take it or leave it. That attitude going into the sale, and then of course bumping up against them and helping them make a decision as quickly as possible is your responsibility, but then also not being so attached to it at the same time.
So this is why mindset is so key to going into a sales presentation, or before you sit down to make an hour or 3 hours of calls, or to make 3 calls. Your mindset is gonna dictate your results.
Totally.
So if you have a mindset going into making calls that's like, oh God, I really don't want to make calls, I hate calls, calls suck, then you're gonna get that result. And there's so many people that I coach, Deb and I both, that we talk to on a daily basis. We ask them, why is your business struggling? What do you do for prospecting? And they run from it. And they wonder why they don't make 6 figures in a year. That's why. We have to get congruent about reaching out and contacting clients, past clients, current clients. There's always things that we can do to provide them more service, more value. We can either A, upsell them, B, we can ask for a review, and C, we can ask for feedback and say, hey, how's my team doing? Are we doing a good job? And most business owners that I found, they are so afraid to call past clients because they don't want the brutal, honest truth of where their business may be bottlenecking, maybe failing, maybe a certain team member may be dropping the ball. That's the most important feedback one can get.
Get over yourself. Seriously, like, how are you going to grow and transform if you're not open to feedback?
So
it may sting in the beginning, and like your little ego is getting smaller, and your bigger ego, the higher self of you, the confident real you, is actually transforming before your eyes. So get over yourself and get that feedback. And also for your coaching, if you are a coach and you're working with people and you reject sales, then how can you ask your clients to get out of their comfort zone if you're not doing it yourself by learning how to sell?
Exactly.
It's a projection.
If we are staying in our comfort zone, that means we can't grow as a couple, we can't grow as individuals, we can't grow our business. And we've been taking a lot of feedback recently from a lot of other experts that we've hired in marketing for our training business to actually help us grow. Try this. Hey, have you considered that?
I do things on a daily basis that do not feel well, because I know that I'm growing as a human being, and I'm growing as a leader and a mentor and as a coach and a trainer. So
first things first, if you're not setting goals, you're already in the comfort zone. Number one, if you're not setting goals, you're in the comfort zone. Number two, if you're not following up with prospects, you're not creating more, calls or leads on a daily basis. It's a numbers game. So if we're not doing more of that, we're already in the comfort zone. And the comfort zone, folks, does not pay our bills. The comfort zone does not help our clients. It certainly doesn't serve anyone except our own self, I don't know, what do you want to call it? Self-ego or self-comfort. It's not good. It's not a healthy
you're not
place
growing.
to be.
If you want to grow, and at least I've made a commitment with us in our relationship that we are personally going to grow for the rest of our life. We're going to put ourselves in situations that is going to allow us to become better people. And
or force us to grow.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
We like to be in positions that kind of just go,
force
you to grow.
A nice little love tap.
And there's nothing wrong with that. But the key is mindset. So again, the confidence going into sales, the confidence going into these calls. If you want to make a certain amount of money this year, this month, this week, write it down before you start the session of prospecting. Write down that number. And then imagine that lifestyle. Imagine $100,000 a year lifestyle. Imagine what it's going to take to make 10 grand in this month. Imagine what it's going to take to make $2,000-$3,000 this week.
Also imagine how many people you're going to help and serve by picking up the phone. How many people out there need you right now that you're going to help? I mean, one of the things we do with our masters that are going into master practitioner is we help them write out a blueprint, which is their mission that has their specific type of avatar in it, that they literally write down all the things like how they're going to transform their client's life and how that's going to affect their life. And that is their blueprint of what to look at before they go into a sales call to make them super empowered and be able to get through anything.
And if money doesn't motivate you, or serving people doesn't motivate you, then find something that does.
Yeah.
Right? Find something that motivates you.
So get into the right mindset. If you haven't watched this, make sure that you watch the other video. Our internet cut out. Sorry about that. And stay tuned for Monday because we're going to talk about the sales process and how that sabotages people not having that.
Not having a sales process.
Thank you for jumping on. Hey, it's so good to see you, Monica, Brian, Goalie. And we will see you on Monday. Make sure that you watch the replay.
Facebook Live. Next.
All right. Bye.
Thank you so much for watching this video. If you like our content and you want to see more, hit the subscribe button below. We'll be posting videos every single week.
And if you want to learn more about NLP or a certification program or even performance coaching, come join us on our website at yagertraining.com and you can find the link in the description below. We hope to see you on the next video. Thank you.